The crystalline palace of Zerathia stood silent, its once vibrant halls now draped in the deep purple of morning. Queen Lorona sat motionless on her throne, her luminescent skin dimmed to a pale glow. It had been 3 cycles since her daughter, Princess Pfizer, vanished during a diplomatic mission to the outer regions. The search parties had returned empty, and the royal council had declared the young princess lost to the void, but Lorona refused to believe her daughter was gone forever. The queen's grief was a tangible thing, spreading through the palace like a cold mist. Courtiers spoke in whispers, and even the automated systems seemed to hum more quietly. Pfizer had been the light of Zerathia, beloved not just by her mother but by all who knew her. Her laughter had once echoed through these halls, her curiosity driving her to explore every corner of their advanced civilization. Now, there was only silence. It was on the dawn of the 4th cycle that everything changed. A transmission crackled through the palace's communication array, frequency so primitive that the systems almost rejected it. The message was simple, delivered in broken Zerathian: "I have Princess Pfizer, she is alive." Requesting permission to land, the palace erupted into chaos. Guards scrambled to defense positions, advisors argued about protocol, and Queen Lorona rose from her throne for the first time in days, her eyes blazing with desperate hope. "Allow them to land," she commanded, her voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. "But have the royal guard ready." The ship that descended to the landing platform was unlike anything the Zerathians had seen in decades. A crude, cobbled-together vessel that looked more like scrap metal than a spacecraft. It bore the markings of Earth, that distant world in the Milky Way's outer spiral arm. Humans were known to the galactic community but were considered primitive, barely having achieved faster-than-light travel. The airlock hissed open, and a young human male stepped out, his movements careful and deliberate. He wore a battered flight suit, his dark hair matted with sweat, and his eyes held a mixture of exhaustion and determination. Behind him, supported by his arm, was Princess Pfizer. Queen Lorona's composure shattered. She rushed forward, her royal guards barely keeping pace, and stopped just meters from her daughter. Pfizer looked thinner, her once bright skin scarred and dimmed, but she was alive. She was alive, Mother, Pfizer whispered, tears streaming down her face. The human Stein, he introduced himself, as stepped back, allowing the reunion to unfold. The queen embraced her daughter with a force that spoke of weeks of anguish, of sleepless nights and unanswered prayers to the old gods. "How?" Lorona finally managed, turning to Stein. "How did you find her? How did you bring her back?" Stein shifted uncomfortably under the gaze of the entire royal court that had gathered. "I'm a salvage operator, Your Majesty. I work the fringe zones, looking for valuable debris. About 2 weeks ago your time I picked up a distress signal. Found the princess's escape pod drifting near a collapsed wormhole. She was unconscious, her life support failing." He ran a hand through his hair, clearly uncomfortable with the attention. "I didn't know who she was at first. Just knew someone needed help. Took me days to figure out her biology, to keep her alive with the limited medical supplies I had. When she finally woke up and told me who she was, well, I knew I had to get her home." Pfizer spoke up, her voice weak but clear. "He saved my life, Mother, multiple times. The pod's systems failed completely 3 days into our journey. Stein gave me his own oxygen supply, rationed his food and water. He navigated through pirate territory and radiation fields. He risked everything." The Queen studied the human carefully. His ship was barely functional, his supplies clearly depleted, and he looked as though he hadn't slept in days. Yet he had crossed hostile territory, had outsmarted or outrun dangers that would have destroyed most experienced pilots, or to return a stranger to her home. "What?" Lorona asked simply. "Your people and mine have no formal alliance. You could have held her for ransom, could have sold the information to our enemies. Why risk your life?" Stein met her gaze steadily. "Because it was the right thing to do. Because she's someone's daughter. Because... He paused, then continued quietly. "I lost my own sister when I was young. I couldn't save her, but I could save Pfizer." The throne room fell silent. Even the hardened warriors of the royal guard seemed moved by the humans' simple honesty. Queen Lorona stepped forward and placed her hand on Stein's shoulder, a gesture of profound respect in Zerathian culture. "You have given me back my heart, Stein of Earth. The debt I owe you can never be fully repaid. But I swear on the eternal light that Zerathia will be forever in your debt. Name your reward, and if it is within my power, it shall be yours." Stein glanced at Pfizer, who smiled at him weakly. "I don't need a reward, Your Majesty. Just ... Maybe some fuel for my ship and directions to the nearest trading post would be nice." Laughter rippled through the court, a sound that hadn't been heard in weeks. The queen smiled, truly smiled, for the first time since her daughter's disappearance. You shall have your fuel, Lorona declared, and much more. You have shown us that nobility is not measured by technology or power, but by the courage to do what is right. Stay, Stein of Earth, be our guest, recover your strength, and know that you have earned not just my gratitude, but the friendship of an entire world. As physicians rushed to attend to Pfizer and palace staff began seeing to Stain's needs, the queen watched the unlikely pair. Her daughter had been returned to her by the most unexpected Sabira, human with a broken-down ship and a heart that refused to let someone die alone in the darkness of space. Sometimes, the queen realized, heroes came from the most unexpected places, and sometimes, mourning could turn to joy in the span of a single, miraculous moment.